Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your February 2020 mid-month general reading. We're looking at the last half of February here. Welcome everyone. Thanks for all your support, feedback, and comments. Thanks for being here today. So this reading is for the water sign of Pisces, our lovely fish. For the last half of February, that's Pisces Sun, Pisces Moon, Pisces Rising. If your Venus is in Pisces, or if you are cross-watching for a Piscean as well. I always have a hard time saying cross-watching. But as many of you know, general readings always resonate a little differently for everyone. So if you know your other signs, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, watch those as well. It can always provide additional and helpful information and clarification. If this reading or if any of the readings resonate for you and you would be interested in reaching out for a personal one-on-one reading with me, just click on the description link below. Click on that little arrow that pulls down the information. You'll see more info and contact details for me. You can email me directly at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. I would be delighted to work with you. I do offer a wide variety of readings in all the main areas of life, and I do readings full-time, so I'm pretty diligent at working with both your schedule and mine to get readings out to you or scheduled with you in as timely a fashion as possible. So send me an email if you're interested and we will go from there. Okay, Pisces, let's see what the last half of February has in store for you. We had a jumper and just one card, so a message someone needs to hear. I'm going to keep that out over here. Actually kind of jumped up and hit me right in the chest. Of course. Well, your cards are just kind of jumping all over the place today, Pisces. Okay. Okay, Pisces, we begin with the Page of Cups, followed by the Four of Swords. We have the Queen of Wands, followed by the Four of Wands. From the bottom of the deck, overall energy is the Nine of Swords. The card that jumped out was the Seven of Pentacles, which is a card of reflection and taking stock of that which you have already worked for and invested in something, someone, and you're trying to make decisions based on that, kind of taking inventory. But a lot of stress, anxiety, and worry. Overall energy is the Nine of Swords. Mental obsession or overthinking, overstressing and overthinking, lots of mental energy, because swords is governed by the element of air, which is the energy which governs our mind. Thoughts, belief systems, ideologies, words, communication, wisdom, insight. Too much thinking in negative ways too. And as I often say with the Nine of Swords, I often see this card come up when someone is in fear of the future, an unknown future, which we don't have control over anyway, other than some of the choices we can make today. You know, trying to perhaps envision what's going to happen or not happen and what we're going to do based on that. And it's often about thinking in negative terms, like, what if this happens or what if this doesn't happen? But too much, you're overthinking it here, kind of the mind going around and around in circles. This can sometimes represent making mountains out of a molehill, or thinking about something to the point where it becomes bigger and worse in our head than is actually reflected in the actual external reality of the situation. I won't say throw it out the window or don't worry, because sometimes we do, and it may be that the source of your concern and stress and anxiety or fear might be valid, but the Nine of Swords is too much energy. It's unnecessary in this situation, so you could cut that back down to a 3 or a 4. But that looks like overall energy for the last half of February. Doesn't have to be this extreme at that time. That's why we do these readings. Forewarned is forearmed. And often one of the greatest tools to combat this energy when it comes back is to distract ourselves, to do things to kind of take us out of that energy. So what is this about? And in looking at your cards, Pisces, it feels like you're maybe thinking, maybe throwing out some feelers, maybe thinking of having some initial communication with someone, maybe seeing if they're interested, throwing out some feelers, maybe doing a little light communication here and there, which is what the Page of Cups can represent. Cups is water energy, and in the tarot, this is the element which rules the suit of cups, which is about our emotional landscape, emotions, feelings, relationships, all that ooey gooey stuff. But the pages are messages, messengers. They're just starting out. They can sometimes be a bit nervous and unsure. So this could be little messages, flirting, text, just putting out little feelers to see if someone's interested, because it's interesting that the Page of Cups is looking directly at the Queen of Wands. Leo, Aries, Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising, or perhaps someone who is manifesting like the Queen of Wands or the King of Wands. It's if you're male or female. I can't get too gender specific at all in general readings, of course, because you have your own individual stories and details here. But the page is looking directly at the Queen. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you're an immature person, because the page can represent somebody who's very youthful, childlike, or sometimes, immature. But it can represent that in this arena, which looks to me for a lot of you like the arena of love and romance, or considering it. You're looking at this person, this woman, or this man that you're seeing as very attractive. I mean, the Queen of Wands or the King of Wands. Wands is fire energy. So this is passionate, dynamic, charismatic, probably easy on the eyes. Someone who is, you see as a queen, somebody who is fully in command and has harnessed those lovely, creative, artistic, vibrant powers of fire. And you feel a bit like a page in the presence of this person. It's kind of sweet. But all this stress and anxiety, I think that you're thinking about, or maybe trying to take some little steps or some little feelers out there, whether or not this person is interested in you, maybe in more than just friendship, because we did have this card that popped out, the Seven of Pentacles, and this represents somebody who's already invested a lot of time and effort and labor into growing this crop, which hasn't reached its full potential yet, which would be represented by a 10. We're at a 7 here, but there's a lot been invested in this. But with this energy of the page, perhaps this is somebody that you've known for some time. You have a friendship with them. You've known them for some time. You have some kind of friendship, some kind of relationship with them. But you're seeing them in a different light, or perhaps you have been for a time, but I don't think you've let them know it. And maybe you're wondering if now is the time. But there's a lot of stress and anxiety, maybe some insecure or fear about it, maybe some self-confidence issues as well, about approaching this person, because this person is manifesting as a queen or a king. And you're feeling, you might be a queen or a king in other areas of your life, but in this, with this person, you feel very much like a page. Or maybe you're just putting out these little messages to see. So underneath the page, we have the Four of Swords, which is a card of taking perhaps a bit of a step back. Can represent feeling tired, worn out, exhausted, maybe from thinking too much about it. The 9 and the 4. The 4 is the person who's, he's taking a step back because he's tired, he's worn out, exhausted, especially mentally. Maybe he needs to get a different perspective, take a break, see what happens. Maybe realizing that you've been overthinking, so you're taking a bit of a break from it, or at least cutting it down quite a bit. I actually like the progression of the 9 of Swords to the 4 of Swords. Underneath the Queen of Wands, we have the Four of Wands, which is one of the happy home cards, celebratory cards, marriage even, weddings, engagements. It can sometimes represent an actual event or preparing for an actual event. Maybe there is, for some of you, an event coming up, a social event, a party, a gathering. Maybe this person's going to be there. And you're excited. There is a sense with the Four of Wands, there is a sense of excitement, anticipatory excitement in preparing for a celebration of some kind that this person's going to be at. It's also a card that can have an underlying connotation to engagements, weddings. I really feel like this is somebody that you look at as being kind of like the brass ring for you. Maybe some of you might feel like you're not quite up to her level, or maybe that's just a fear or an insecurity. Perhaps you have been sending out some little communications, but maybe you're taking a step back from that for maybe the third week of February or so. But then the last week of February, it looks like there's going to be some kind of contact. Again, perhaps at a social event. I am getting that kind of strongly for some of you. And for others of you, it could just be that this is just in the same energy of what you're wishing for, hoping for, or dreaming of with this person. It's interesting. But again, we have that Seven of Pentacles, which implies that this is someone you have some already ongoing contact, a relationship with, a history with, in some form. And perhaps you're wanting more. It almost feels like a very one-note reading, meaning that it may not resonate to a lot of people watching, but that's all I'm really getting from this in terms of it being one kind of story. I mean, alternately, this Page of Cups is hesitantly approaching the Queen of Wands, maybe trying to put out feelers, and it could be for something else. It might not be in a romantic sense. Yeah, I'm just not getting anything other than that, though. So let's clarify this Nine of Swords. What specifically is all this stress about? Reaching out. We've got the Page of Cups, who's already tentatively kind of reaching out. What's the Nine of Swords about? What more are you worried about, or what else are you worried about here? The Knight of Cups. So we went from the Page of Cups to the Knight of Cups. Well, I understand it now. All this stress and anxiety. So the Page of Cups. You're thinking about the page of going from the energy of the Page of Cups to the Knight of Cups. So the pages are just the young apprentices, the students, the messengers, the runners, the little message deliverers. But the Knights are a step up. They've grown and matured and evolved, and they're knights. They have a mission, a quest, something to achieve. They're very single-minded and focused about it. They're all about running off, getting or acquiring or achieving those results and bringing those results back. So knights usually represent, they're the bringers, the deliverers, the guardians and protectors of the tarot. They usually represent offers, opportunities for change. Here we have the Knight of Cups. He's charging in, offering his cup of love, putting his heart out on his sleeve, making that offer. I get now. There's all this stress and anxiety because you feel like a page with this person, or maybe it's been just like this for some time. But the stress, the Nine of Swords, do I actually make an offer? Do I actually make my feelings known? Do I make it more evident to this person what I'm wanting, regardless of what it is you're wanting? The details, of course, individual stories, right? You're taking a bit of a break, but it almost feels like you're going to have this thing that you're going to be together or in the same vicinity or at the same thing with this person. So you're wondering if maybe this will be an opportunity to make yourself more obvious, make an actual offer, asks him out for a date. Maybe the stress is coming from you already have a long-term relationship, or you've known this person for some time, and you're worried maybe that if you do this and it isn't returned, or she doesn't feel the same way, or doesn't look at it as having that kind of potential, is it going to, ruin what you have or stymie it somehow? Interesting reading, Pisces. And this is what the last couple weeks of February look like. It's a fairly short period of time, and this looks like the energy that's playing out. So I'm just curious. Let's pull one advice and guidance card from Spirit on how best to navigate through this energy, at least for this time period, for Pisces. It's kind of sweet, Pisces. I'm not getting anything else other than this, and this is coming across loud and clear, so might only resonate with a few of you for the mid-month. It could also be somebody that you are romantically involved with and you're wondering if you should make an offer to take it to the next level, whatever that might be. It might be engagement, marriage, or moving in together or something of that sort. Your advice of spirit for this time period is the Hanging Man. No action just yet. You're kind of hanging, getting a different perspective, watching how things play out. Things are still playing out. There's things still going on behind the scene. You may not know everything yet. So you're taking your time, you're biding your time, you're not taking action just yet. You're kind of watching things continue to play out. So I don't feel, at least not until the end of this month, I don't see any action being taken, or at least this is the advice from Spirit. Watching, waiting, maybe getting a different perspective. So Pisces, that is your reading for the last half of February. Sweet reading. I hope it was at least not too confusing for most of you, that it was helpful at least to somebody out there. If this reading resonated for you, if any of the readings do, and you are interested in a personal reading, once again, just click on the description link below and you'll see my contact info there. You can email me directly at Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. I would be most happy to work with you. I will see you all in a couple of weeks for the March 2020 general readings. Until then, as always, Pisces, I wish you much joy, love, peace, and courage during this time, and I look forward to seeing you back here again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.